So in case you didn't know, Audio-Technica has finally released a couple new headphones to follow up the Audio-Technica R70X in their reference line. This is the Audio-Technica R70xa and the Audio-Technica R50x. Let's talk about them. Now unfortunately, there is a review embargo on these headphones, so I can't really talk about the sound of them for the next couple of weeks. But there are still a lot of important things that you should know about these. So the first thing you should know about the R70xa is that it costs $350 just like the original R70X. Unlike the original R70X with its adjustable wing design here, which I personally like, the R70xa has a completely redesigned headband here. It has a suspension strap and adjustable headband size here. This suspension strap is actually removable and you can sort of adjust it, but as you can see, there's not a lot of room to adjust it in. And like the original, the R70xa has dual 3.5mm entry at the bottom of each cup and comes with a locking cable design. In terms of comfort, the R70xa has the added bonus of having now Y-axis swivel along its cups as well as the traditional X-axis swivel. And with the redesigned headband, you'd think that it's going to be more comfortable than the R70X, but unfortunately, it is not. This headband is a bit weird. I find that there's more pressure at the top of the cups than there is at the bottom, which means there's a significant gap at the bottom where I can even almost squeeze my fingers in there. And like the original R70X, the ear pads aren't very big, so the bottom of the pad sort of touches the bottom of my ear, so it almost becomes like an on-ear type design. I think one of the challenges of this headphone is that you'll notice how aggressive that sort of headband curve is compared to the R70X, right? And so I think that that's sort of why you sort of get that effect. Now, to be fair, I didn't find this headphone uncomfortable at all. Despite the gap at the bottom, I didn't really find it to really affect my experience of the sound. It is about 200 grams, so it's very light, and I've been able to have this headphone on for a number of hours while listening to music, and I didn't really feel the need to take them off. But I would say that the R70X with its original wing design felt more comfortable and more snug on my head. And that brings us to the R50x. At $200, this headphone is considered a sort of step-down design, at least according to Audio-Technica, in terms of its positioning. You'll see that it has a very sort of similar headband design, except it doesn't have the suspension strap and uses these foam nuggets for comfort instead. It also doesn't have quite an aggressive curvature to the headband, so when I combine those two factors and wear it on my head, I actually find it to be more comfortable than the R70xa. There isn't that gap at the bottom of the padding, and unlike the R70X, it doesn't feel like, that wing design is gonna fail on me. This feels nice and secure and rigid. I also like the fact that it only uses a single entry design, so it's more easier to use in terms of only having one cable to deal with. And the last thing I really appreciate about this headphone is the fact that the pads are softer and more plush than the other two. So ironically, the cheaper headphone is more comfortable for me. So that was a really quick look at the built-in design of Audio-Technica's new R70xa and R50x. I am working towards a full video review of these, so stay tuned in a couple of weeks.